29th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Cycle C. To be constant in prayer is a message of the Living Gospel for this Sunday, October 19. So let us join the community's Action in Solidarity, an association Jesus Solidarity, in reflecting on the Gospel according to Luke chapter 18, verses 1 to 8, with commentary from Father Pachi Loidi, narrated by Brother Carl Balaan. Proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to Saint Luke. Jesus told them a parable about the necessity for them to pray always without becoming weary. He said, "There was a judge in a certain town who neither feared God nor respected any human being. And a widow in that town used to come to him and say, 'Render a just decision for me against my adversary.' For a long time the judge was unwilling, but eventually he thought, 'While it is true that I neither fear God nor respect any human being, because this widow keeps bothering me, I shall deliver a just decision for her, lest she finally come and strike me.' The Lord said, 'Pay attention to what the dishonest judge says. Will not God then secure the rights of his chosen ones who call out to him day and night? Will he be slow to answer them? I tell you, he will see to it that justice is done for them speedily. But when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" The Gospel of the Lord. Father Pachi's commentary. Best regards once again to all friends of the Living Gospel. At first glance, it seems that Jesus is comparing God to an unjust judge. But let's keep in mind that this is a parable. God has nothing to do with the unjust judge. This parable is an invitation to be constant in prayer. To make himself understood, Jesus uses any comparison, no matter how strange. The Lord wants us to pray without stopping. It is about praying with constancy, even if we don't think we can get anything from it. We always get a lot out of prayer. God always listens to us, grants us his gifts continuously, saves us every day. Praying isn't about God that's playing hard to get one day and the next, as if he were busy or didn't hear us, too far or too high, sitting on his throne. It is we who need to pray constantly and even shout our prayers to receive God's gifts. Praying daily, we are transformed. Thus, we are trained to receive and take advantage of the great gifts that God has prepared for us. He doesn't need our constancy. We are the ones who need to pray many times without getting tired, to transform ourselves and thus be able to receive God's gifts. This is a great lesson for today. In passing, there is another suggestion that makes us think. A poor widow who asks for justice but doesn't receive attention. How many people in our society are asking for justice, and the judges of the world ignore them? How many people sink in misery by the disinterest of corrupt magistrates? Too many people are mistreated by unfair structures and the cruelty of those who dominate the system. The people are starting to fight back and voice their anger and disgust. On September 21, time with the anniversary of the declaration of the notorious martial law in 1972, Filipinos all over the country march in protest against corrupt government officials, politicians, and private sector contractors who had been systematically pocketing billions of pesos of taxpayers' money, our money, allotted for flood control projects. May this peaceful protest mark the beginning of bringing those oppressors to justice and renew the face of public service with accountability, integrity, and honesty. Faced with these tremendous realities, the Lord asks us for faith. We need faith to pray constantly and fight for justice in this world shattered by limitless greed. The poor are lambs among wolves. We are all lambs among wolves. But faith sets us in motion and makes possible what is humanly impossible, to open paths toward a new future. Prayer. Inventions of His mercy. How strange are your parables, Lord, placing God in parallel to a judge without justice and without entrails. You tell us about a land that has forgotten the soul, of rulers who have lost their hearts. O our poor people, in the hands of corrupt arbitrators, screaming in vain about their rights day and night. Where has justice escaped? Has it been lost among heaps of gold, in the offices of landowners? And you invite us to cry out insistently until heaven gets tired of hearing our screams and grants us what we're asking for. Will God be like a sleeping satrap who gets up from his nap, shouts at them relentlessly, and finally he grants them his favors so that they can leave him in peace? Oh, the inventions of your mercy! Teach us constancy in prayer, as if God saw us with disdain, as if He couldn't care less about us. While, with motherly love, He has prepared His gifts for us, and He just waits for us to prepare a heart capable of receiving them.